Hey everyone, it's Drew. Um, yeah, I just I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood, so I'm gonna rant. Um, yeah, American politics. Ain't it great? Nah, never mind. I'm not gonna go into that. Right, okay. So I'm sat here and I'm trying to write some stuff. I'm trying to do something productive, right? And my mind keeps going back to this game that I've been playing called The Last of Us, and I know it's an older game. But my brother and sister-in-law gave us their PS3, and when my wife's Xbox 360 broke, so we got this catalog of games with it. And I've not played a lot of them. I prefer playing multiplayer games and building those up, like the collection of characters and items and things, because I like playing games with other people. So I'll play on my own multiplayer games so that when other people come around, there's a big toy box to play with in the multiplayer games. That's why I like them. And I got lambasted at Christmas for not playing all these single player games because I've not completed Dead Space 2, although I've played Dead Space 2, I completed Dead Space 1. I did the Batman games again, despite having done them on the Xbox, because they're the Batman games, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, got to do them. Still not played Arkham Knight or Arkham Origins yet. Also, the Blackgate ones, I did not enjoy those. But anyway, Uncharted, hated it. Fucking hated Uncharted. It made no sense. It was just a ridiculous thing. Like, when the premise of the gameplay is like exploration, everything I was getting from the game was like, you got to explore, you got to go and look at things. But despite looking pretty, when you broke everything down, it was like there are things in set areas, and areas are of a certain type. And there's a time for looking and a time for getting from one place to another. And I think I'm upset at the fact that I can see the wave in the curtain, so I can tell a curtain's there, but I can't quite tell what's behind the curtain. I can't instinctively tell what each area is, but after a few moments, I can tell that I'm not going to encounter any enemies in this area. And most of the time, that also means there's not an awful lot to find, which is silly. Because it's not breaking the game up into two distinct things. It's just making a sparsely populated thing that just pads the game's running time needlessly with slogs from one area to the other where, oh, there might be hidden things. There's not, for the most part. And like platforming sections where the camera is just in odd positions to make you fall. Just you're not learning anything from going through it because the platforming sections are few and far between, and the camera angles are not repeated in a recognizable way. When they're in these odd angles, so it doesn't give any sense of satisfaction or closure at all. It's not, to me, it's not a well-designed game. Also, the fact that you are a single person fighting a horde of mercenaries. Computer games are all about power fantasies. I dig that. But think of the logic from the mercenaries' point of view. I realize I'm not ranting about The Last of Us yet. This is still just Uncharted, right? But from the mercenaries' point of view, right? They are on the island on the assumption that they're going to make back some money that they've lost by loaning some to someone. On the hunch of a bounty hunter, treasure seeker guy. Rather than sitting back and letting him do all the heavy lifting and then just robbing him on his way back, or even hiring him and say, look, your mate is going to die unless we get paid. If you're seeking this treasure, how about you find the treasure, we split it, we don't kill your mate when you're not looking. Like, that would be smarter. But they don't. They come after you in waves and waves and just die. Then there's also how they get places. Like, you're having to leap and grab onto things even after you've like worked your way through doors and into like inhabited areas and stuff, you then need like get out onto a walkway and have to leap and climb and stuff and get to the next area, and then there's guys there with cars. Like, how did they get there? Why can't you do that instead of doing all this death fight? Just pisses me off. It really does. So, Uncharted, shit. Did not enjoy my time with it whatsoever. I'm yet to play Uncharted 2, which I'm told is much better. But I thought I'd play The Last of Us because I enjoy horror. I actually get scared by horror, which to me adds to my enjoyment. I'm not one of these people that just sit and watch a horror film and are like, woohoo, they're all getting cut up. I cringe on the sofa and I'm like, no, don't do that. But I enjoy that feeling. So, Last of Us, I thought, fantastic. I can sink into this. I've started rereading Lovecraft stuff for two reasons. One, I have never reread a book in my life. Never. With the sole exception, sole caveat, children's books, because I read to my son. But with that out of the way, like books that I have read for my own gratitude, I have never reread a book. Never. So I decided to, and I'm really enjoying it. Especially Dagon. Like oh, just reading that is amazing. I just, I love it. I really do. Just the way everything. Oh, anyway, right, okay. So, The Last of Us is the same as Uncharted. Now I know it's made by the same people, but it looks pretty, but nothing makes sense. Like with no earthquakes or anything, you can't backtrack very far, right? Things have collapsed down. Now, in one of my most recent areas that I've gone through, which is like the museum thing, before you find out that, oh, surprise, surprise, the lead adult woman thing that's traveling with you that isn't on all the artwork on the box and everything, she's bitten. Like, I called it the moment I saw her. I'm like, she's going to get bit. Then I started doubting it when the whole gang sequence came, and I'm like, okay, maybe she'll get hit by a stray bullet from people shooting out because all of a sudden zombies are breaking through. But no, they let that gang shootout thing play out, and I'm like, the fuck is the point of this? But yeah, so called it. She's bit. You meet the girl, like she's gonna be immune. She's immune, or resistant, or something. I've not got to the end. I don't know, but just so predictable that yes, she's immune. The other one's gonna die. All right, I'll play through anyway. Maybe the action's really good. Nope, it is the same mechanics as Uncharted. Not only that, but it's the same sort of thing. Like there are shooting areas where you are fighting people. Now, the added addition, sneaking areas. Like I didn't like save up shivs, and I'm starting to think that with all the items, I don't think I could have enough shivs to go through all the stealth areas, killing all of the clickers. So I like that they're shaking it up a bit with these stealth areas. But it's still not great. Like you're still hunting for items in obvious item hunting segments. It's good that they're sprinkling the items along the sneaking segments as well, but you've still got obvious. This is what you're doing here. You get to look around and feel no danger. Like even if there's like cars driving overhead on the grates and things, like you're in no danger. You're not going to get shot and killed in this section, so just fucking have at. And then there's like this whole swathe of area that you can walk around and explore in like a section like right after a shootout when bitten woman gets killed by guards and stuff. There's like whole sections of flooded area that you can walk in that serve no purpose. Like loads of areas are blocked off. If you are going to railroad me, just fucking railroad me. Don't let me waste 10 minutes of my time thinking there's something more to your game by giving me like a whole area to go and explore and have there be nothing. Nothing fruitful. Nothing that further informs the world of your game, even. I don't need like a pickup. I don't need an item. I don't need to find a thing that makes the gameplay easier or better or more exciting. You can show me like a doll with a pinned note on it or something that tells me some tragic story of a little girl. That would be great. But no, it's just standard background detritus floating around the place. Nothing that informs anything else about the game world that we don't already know. The world's gone to shit. But then you've also got, why is the world going to shit? Like, it's been 20 years and the government has declared a state of emergency. Is that a bad thing? There's a fucking terrible situation going on. Why is it a bad thing that they've declared a state of emergency? It's a state of emergency. I get the feeling that it's going to come out that the government is not wanting a cure because they like the control and stuff like. Oh, that's a bunch of shit. Really? Like, none of that has gone into, none of that has been explored. It just seems that the people in authority in this game are just considered bad because they're in authority, rather than the other people who are supposed to be the good guys for some reason. Like, if you've got an external enemy force, history has shown us that that is not the point where you get fascistic regimes rising up. You get people banding together, pooling their resources and efforts, and fighting the external force. That's what happens during situations like that. Like, during any natural disaster, during any invasion, you get, clan disputes set aside and you get the problem resolved. So it makes no sense. It doesn't match human understanding. So I am being asked to suspend my disbelief in that. Like, mushroom monsters, I can get behind because that's actually fairly realistic. But the idea that humans are going to stop behaving in a human way with no explanation, that requires some fucking setup, mate. Like, I'm not accepting the world as presented with The Last of Us. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna see if I can get to the end and see what the hell happens, because I'm curious. But I am by no means enjoying it. It is ridiculous. Fucking oh, the swimming section, right? I've just got to a swimming section in some subway bit, right? I've just escaped from the town hall or whatever it was, and there was a bit where I could see, like, slightly lower down, there was like a door way thing. I tried all the buttons, could not make it work. I couldn't go underwater for longer than like a split second. It would like bob down and then shoot back up, saying to me that there's a way to go underwater, but this wasn't working for some reason. And so I swim out and I swim around. I explore as much as I could. Then I get to a bit where there's like a fallen bit of ceiling, and you need to dive underneath it. And it comes up with an on-screen prompt saying, "Right, now press circle, I think it was, to dive underwater, and then press the left stick to move, swim underwater, press X to shoot back up again." I'm like, right, but I was exploring these mechanics by myself, locking these mechanics until I hit a certain checkpoint to then allow me to do what I was going to work out for myself anyway. That's ridiculous amounts of hand holding. And it also means that the game is nothing more than a glorified hot button thing. Oh, what do you call it? A quick time event. That's essentially all it is. It's basically, when I get to the point in the water that it will allow me to dive, and it wants me to have to dive, I then press this other button. Just put it in a fucking cutscene if that's what you're going to do. Seriously. Because all that means is that in the, I'm going to assume based on Uncharted, the 2 occasions that this diving mechanic is going to come into play, I'm going to need to wait until the actual point where it comes up on screen to tell me, now do this. It's a fucking quick time event. And I hate those. They're ridiculous. Like, sometimes they're okay. Like, sometimes, yeah, like rhythm games are essentially just quick time events of the game. Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff, they're quick time events. They are nothing but quick time events, and they can be enjoyable when employed well. But it seems to me that they're trying to make things look cool and make it seem like they're allowing you to do cool things, but they're not letting you do cool things. They're showing it on screen and basically just requiring you to do a key sequence. Like the final boss in the first Uncharted game was a bunch of QuickTime button presses, and if you failed, you basically just reset to the beginning of the QuickTime event and just had to wait for that trigger to happen again, and you just tried it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it was naff. Really further diminished my enjoyment of the game, which was in the toilet to begin with. So The Last of Us not impressing me at all, which is a shame because I fucking love the fuck out of Legacy of Kain. So Amy Hennig should be just, I don't know, just better at making games. But she's, I don't know what's going on. I really don't, because like it should be better. Oh, right. I've just seen a pop up thing. What's going on? Did you sign up for this somewhere? Might be fun just to listen in. It's an in-person game broadcast anywhere. Feel free to open. Running a Shadowrun event. Well, I say I'm running a Shadowrun event. I've just commented on my post. I shared the fact that I'm doing this rant thing because it's so fucking bad. And someone else commented on the Shadowrun thing. So yeah, I don't put the stuff on this channel anymore, but I used to. But if you watching, you probably know I do D&D stuff. So professional GM stuff is what I'm going into. I say I'm going into, I'm already doing it. It still just doesn't feel real yet. So anyway, I run role-playing games, board games professionally. And I ran as sort of like an advertisement for my business, a free D&D session, hopefully to get people in that would want to buy my services. The only customers I've had have not come to that Tuesday event, but it has been good for boosting my profile a bit. And it was really fun to run. I really enjoyed it. One of the reasons why I got into this job in the first place is because I love playing D&D. I love running D&D. I love this stuff. So I was fine not getting any bites from it, like from the actual free D&D group, because they're great guys. I really enjoy them, playing with them. So that was fine. And one of the players wanted to run Shadowrun, and I thought, yeah, go on. You guys have been meeting up for a few months, kind of got to know each other, become friends a bit. So yeah, carry on with the group while I'm not able to, because childcare changes have happened, so I can no longer do it at the time and place that I was doing it, but they can. So by all means, carry on. So yeah, I've been helping Martin with setting that up, and he's going to be running that on Tuesdays, 12 till 4 in Leeds now, which is cool. But I don't know much about Shadowrun. It's basically Cyberpunk D&D is what I know about it. Anyway, go to my Facebook page, D20 Advice, to find out more. Anyway, the other rant thing is Discord. Discord's a thing that I'm using now, right? And I've got a message. Okay. Yeah. So on a Discord thing, I think this is on Nerdarchy or D&D 5th edition. Nerdarchy, personality tests, right? And I was told that I'm this type A, which is type A, not the country. City? Hell's type A? Type A. Type A. City, state, or country? Taipei, officially known as Taipei City, is the capital of the special municipality of Taiwan. Okay. Okay. It's weird for me with that side of things. this is going to come across horribly ignorant, and it is because I'm ignorant of the full details of the situation. But basically, when it comes to like uh, Taipei and Taiwan and China, like there's a weird relationship going on there, and China wants Taiwan to be called Taipei or something, and Taiwan wants to be just called Taiwan and be its own nation and completely independent. But China's like, no, we're buddies, right? Arm around, pull them closer. So yeah, it's a weird relationship. So I always forget what to call things. But anyway, personality types. I was described as type A. And I read the signs of being a type A personality because I've written an article and I've passed on the um, the article to some friends of mine for them to make a video for. And I was just mentioning that I was a little anxious about the fact that I've basically left it to the last minute to hand it to them. I've not had an article published in a few weeks, and now I'm like, I could just jump on the camera and bash out a video, and that would be that. But I'm really looking forward to working with these people, so I'm leaving it with them. And they're like, "Oh, type A personality." I'm like, "What? Is this a Myers Briggs thing?" And like, "Oh, it's a bit more general, so it's more likely to catch you." So I'm like, "Okay, let's have a look at this. 16 signs you're a little or a lot type A. Waiting in long lines kills you a little bit inside." I'm like, it's a bit impatient, isn't it? Like, I don't enjoy waiting in long lines, but I don't get super annoyed or pissed off about it. Like, you're just standing in a line. Part of me feels really good for standing politely in a line. You know, like when you're in a long line with a whole bunch of people and you can sort of feel the mood shift. I get a rush from calming down a little bit. A lot of my bad personality quirks are going to come out in this video, I think. But basically, I enjoy being that sort of people looking around to see how annoyed they should be at a situation. If they clock me, they'll go, "Okay, he's remaining calm about this." I love being that sort of beacon of calm during tense situations. When everyone else is calm and I identify as a tense situation, I enjoy also being the one to flip my shit and go, "No, you're being fucking ridiculous." So I don't know. Maybe I'm just a contrarian and I get a rush from that. I don't know, but like I enjoy that. When I was at my acting school, because it was essentially a scam. It was a year of watching some Mexican guy sleep on the sofa. Was essentially my acting school. That was it was a weird experience, but like the dozen or so of us that started out at this acting school, it was in its first year of operation and last year of operation. Technically, it lasted for a few more months after we left. We got dwindled down and dwindled down and dwindled down to the core four. There's just four of us left, and towards the end of the year, I was being taken aside and being told like it's people are referring to you as the rock that they lean on for this. I'm like, yeah, because I'm not flipping out that we're paying 10 grand for essentially watching a guy sleep and talking to him about the fact that he keeps fantasizing about cheating on his wife. Uh, we occasionally get up and act out some scenes, but other than that, it's a bit fucking weird. But I didn't flip out because I thought it was going to be some like magical Mr. Miyagi thing. And I really enjoyed being that sort of calm rock where everyone else was flipping out. I was able to remain calm. I liked that. So this whole like freaking out when you're in lines, nah. So that's not me. You've been described as a perfectionist, overachiever, workaholic, or all of the above. And I'm like, I've been described as a perfectionist. I would describe me as a perfectionist because I don't like when a job is badly done, but I will do badly done jobs. Like most of my videos are not expertly lit, expert cameras and stuff, because I've resigned myself to the fact that I don't have the equipment and I want to get something out. So maybe that's the workaholic thing, but I'm notoriously lazy. Notoriously is the wrong word. I'm not well known for it and notorious for it, but I am chronically lazy. Like my laziness flares up a lot. Now, granted, some would say it's the anxiety and depression. I don't like that that's truer than it should be, but I'm on medication for it. It's a lot better these days, so I'd like to now blame it on something else. So when I'm working, I like working, and when my head's not in the game, like it's really not in the game. Uh, no, Mark. No, I will not. The game fucking sucks. I will finish the game. But yeah, I just got a message. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say that's a half, right? I'm not going to count that as a definite no, not me. You bite your nails or grind your teeth. Nah, I don't do that. You have a serious phobia of wasting time. I I get anxious about it. Like I really don't like the idea. Okay, right. I am making excuses for this not applying to me when it obviously kind of does. I don't like wasting time, but I find it really easy to convince myself that I'm not doing it. Like it says here, stuck in traffic, trapped in a waiting room at the doctor's office. I mean, this seems to me like an extension of the whole waiting in line thing. Um, Natural impatience and distaste of time wasted. You tend to get frustrated by waiting in line. So what? Why is this a third separate thing? But like, not really, because I'm not wasting my time. I am working things out in my head. I am regurgitating things. Not like literally, I'm not chewing the cud, but like, um, I'm going over things in my mind. I'm planning things out so that when I sit down in front of a computer, it's like bash. Like most of my essays in university were done within like a 3-4 hour window because most of it had been planned out anyway. It was just really easy to just go done, and I was getting decent grades on them because I would think about them an awful lot and I would spend a lot of my time where I'm not able to like sit down and write something or type away on a computer thinking about it. So I don't feel like I'm wasting a lot of my time. So that's two out of the three that we've looked at that I don't agree with. That I don't have a phobia of wasting time because I don't have an unreasonable expectation of what I'm doing with my time. You are highly conscientious. I think this would describe everyone on the planet. They would describe themselves as highly conscientious. And that doesn't count for anyone, right? It's like you may get stressed and anxious more than others, but it's because you really care. No one's going to say, I genuinely, deep down to the core of my being, do not care. They will care for their people. Anyway, you've always been a bit of a catastrophist. I mean, maybe. Like, but a lot of the time, you don't feel fine. You can't help but worry about the future and dwell on the worst possible outcome of any problem or failure. Not to a debilitating point most of the time, I don't think. Like, I'm concerned that we're all going to die in a fireball of flaming Armageddon fairly soon. It doesn't consume my every waking thought. I'm not digging a bunker in my back garden, so I'm not that much of a catastrophist. I don't know. I don't quite get what that one was going on about. I've lost the thread of where my camera is, so say that. I'm not a catastrophist. Like, I'm concerned that things will go wrong, and I make plans accordingly. But I'd say that's just being prepared, not being a catastrophist. You frequently talk over and interrupt people. I stop myself. Like, if someone else is starting to talk and I've had to stop myself several times because other people have started talking, I still shut the fuck up and let someone else have a turn because I know. I was about to put my foot in it there. Oh, right. I know that I can be loud sometimes, and that I can have a bit of a personality when it comes to a conversation, and that I will usually say things in fairly definite terms because I like things being as clear as possible and saying as many definite things as possible. So saying I frequently talk over and interrupt people is false. I would say that that is possibly a perception, but certainly not the reality. Like, I stop myself from talking over other people. At no point do I recall a time in my life where I would have talked over people, especially if I was aware that they were trying to talk. If I was unaware that they were trying to talk, that's fine. And that's the thing. Like, I will start talking and be quite loud. So if someone else is trying to talk at the exact same time as me, I might not notice. And that used to happen sometimes, especially when I was a lot younger. But I've started pacing myself, like getting a sense of like the amount of gaps that people leave in conversations for someone else to start talking. And I'll wait just that split second longer before me starting to talk to see who else wants to talk. So I would say that the intention of this does not fit me whatsoever. It says, not on purpose, of course. You mean well and you do care about what other people have to say, but you still find yourself cutting off your friends and acquaintances in order to make your points and advance the conversation. No, I would say no. If I want to advance the conversation, I will let other people talk because usually I'm just wrapping up what other people have said to make everyone in the conversation clear on what's being said. I don't tend to add an awful lot to conversations. I would implore people that I've talked to an awful lot to think back on our conversations. What have I really added? Um, I'm more a curator of information. Um, and I just sort of rejig it a bit and package it a bit better. Stop pinging. I know I've got emails. Right. You have a hard time falling asleep at night. Yeah, because I'm on my phone, not because, anything else. People can't keep up with you in conversation or on the side work. False. I slow down for people. I wait for people. I like people keeping up. So no, I'm not gonna like just outpace someone for no reason. No, fuck you. You put more energy into your career than your relationships. I am terrified of losing people. Absolutely terrified of it. I will drop work to deal with people. So no, I'm sorry. Like I enjoy my work, and I will sometimes ask for help doing other like household chores and things if I'm in the flow of work. But I will not put my relationships in jeopardy. No. Relaxing can be hard work for you. Yeah, but I'm lazy. You have a low tolerance for incompetence. I mean, like most people. There we go. Traditionally, type A's were described as angry and hostile, but psychologists have contested whether a predisposition to hostility is really part of the equation, according to Schaubrock. But it is agreed that type A's are driven and goal oriented above all else, which means they can be less accepting than others when it comes to anything that gets in their way, or any person who doesn't have the same sense of urgency. Like, I think most people get frustrated when things aren't going as expected. But if you're clear in your communication and clear in your expectations of things, like this whole article video thing, I said to them, it would be great if you could have it ready as soon as possible. There's a small window on this, but I know that I've given it to you like last minute. So my expectations are set. I suppose I'm still feeling anxious about it. But still, that's just me being an asshole. That's not like a type A personality. That's like a type D for dick. Or type A for asshole. Yay! So you're a low tolerance for incompetence. Nah, I'd say I've got I've got a lot of patience for people, especially if they don't know what's going on. If I understand that they don't know the details of something, if they don't understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, then I've got a lot of time for people. I enjoy going through things over again because it helps cement things in my mind, and I like helping new people into a field or a piece of information, because I know it's spreading the love, isn't it? So no, I can't agree with that. You'd be lost without your to-do list. I've only recently started to-do lists, and I'm still spotty with them. Nah, I'm not a to-do list person, because I'm fine making a to-do list, but going back and checking the to-do list feels like a faff and a waste of time if you can remember it. So I've always felt like being able to remember things without a physical list, that is the better thing. I'm now becoming more comfortable accepting that my brain is an extremely fallible thing. But nah, to-do lists, not my raison d'etre. At work, everything is urgent. Nah, see above, lazy. You're sensitive to stress. That's what stress is. Everyone's sensitive to stress. Fuck off with that broad statement. You make it happen. Sometimes, like a lot of times, I don't make it happen. So, like, I don't, and that's the end of the list. So I'd say maybe half of those apply to me. The rest of them are just fucking broad nonsense, or just describe asshole behaviors that I don't. I hope don't apply to me, and I'm just completely ignorant of the lot. So you know what? Fuck you, Type A. Um, Type A of what? Pop psychology buzzword catch-all description. People that are more driven, anxiety-prone, go-getters. Oh, hold on. Coined in the late 1950s, the term Type A originated when cardiologist Maya Friedman observed a relationship between incidences of heart disease and personality types. Did he meet up with Briggs? Is this the Maya of Myers Briggs? Is this the Maya of Myers Briggs? What was his name? Maya Friedman. Do. Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? No, I don't think it is. I think it's someone else. All right. Okay. I think so. Lyndon Johnson's Type A, Ronald Reagan is B. Type A's and Type B people. Friedman was casually diagnosed public figures as Type A or B from photographs, spotting such telltale signs as a clenched jaw or pinched look between the eyes. Observation of chairs? See, this is fucking nuts, right? Just fucking don't. I just don't. What? Like, anyway, right. Let's bring this up again. There we go. Hey. So yeah, so fucking personality type test, nonsense. Utter drivel and shite. Last of Us, the game, it's a bit shit, really, isn't it? Like, the story isn't original. The presentation, like, the graphics look nice, but that doesn't do it for me in a game. That's not pressing my buttons. A game doesn't need to look amazing to be good. If it looks good, fantastic. It's better than being nonsense and complete rubbish. But I'm not enjoying The Last of Us. I hear there's a sequel in the works. There's the other Uncharted games that I need to try. But if it is just constantly more of the same, if The Last of Us doesn't improve, if it doesn't get to a point where it's like, okay, so now clickers can be anywhere, or we're going to come clean about the railroady nature of this, because I can't get into it. Personality types are shit. The Last of Us is shit. I just like my man's just saying finish the game first before saying anything. It's like, Yeah, but I need to get there first. And if I'm not encouraged to go to the end of the game, what? What is the point? You know? Um, I'm really not liking this shimmer in the curtain. Like the Metal Gear series of games, I think it does a good job of presenting the illusion of freedom because at no point am I encouraged to go off book. Like I want to get to the next bit. I want to find out what someone's intention is. I want to go and find out what the next part of the story is. I'm encouraged to go from place to place. And you have this idea of where you're starting from and where your current objective is and where the other things are in relation to it. With The Last of Us and Uncharted, that is not the case. You are plonked somewhere that you have no context for. You are put in a situation where you don't have any idea of what the end goal would achieve. Like right now, I am taking Fungus Girl away, right? I walked to the end of like an underground train carriage thing, and there's a whole bunch of water. She says she can't swim, so I was standing there for a good couple of minutes, waiting for her to like slowly, lumber up and grab hold of my neck, and I would swim her across, which didn't happen. And there was no conversation between the characters establishing like right, just go on without me. Like, why would I do that if the game is trying to convince me, failing to do so, but trying to convince me that I'm a dullard who needs a handhold and that danger could be around any corner? Why would I leave her be? The fact is, she's pretty much invulnerable. Like, she is invisible to being spotted by guards. This I noticed pretty quickly, is that your allies will try to hide when you try to hide. They're essentially invisible to guards. Um, I don't know where I was going with that, so I'm sorry, but I'm just so angry about this game. Um, yeah, they'll only get hurt when they physically get caught by someone who like. Yeah, it doesn't thrill me that they are inconsistent with the message. It's like, okay, you should feel comfortable leaving this girl over here while you go off exploring. Um, just basically bumping into walls of a maze until you get to the right bit, and then they'll tell you which button to press to open the bit to the next bit of maze. And once you've gone sufficiently far into that, the last bit of maze disappears. So you've only got your little bit of maze to go through. Pardon me. It doesn't excite me. It's not consistent. I love story in games, and the story in this just doesn't do it for me. You've got. I think I'm currently underwater. I've just come up on the other side or something on that bit. I don't know. I might bash about on it for a little bit. But just there's nothing there. Like, what am I doing? My mate's died, and she's just said, "Oh, get her to the fireflies." Like, I don't think I fully trust the fireflies. They bought a whole bunch of guns when they were dying. Like, they should have been burying themselves underground and not popping up for air. Or with the guns that they've just secured, they should have done like some last stand. Like, I don't even fully understand how they've been caught. What's happened to them? Um, what the specifics are. Why I should believe that their cause is better than the government's cause. Because right now, playing the game, I'm on the side of the government. Fuck the dad protagonist. Like, no, it's why there is no reason for the government to be acting the way that it seems to be portrayed by everyone else. Like everyone seems to think that, ooh, they're holding everything back from us, and they're the only reason we don't have freedom. It's like, no, fucking fungus monster invasion. That's fucking why. See, now I'm starting to have a lingering doubt in the back of my mind about this because when it's saying finish the game first. Is it going to be that like the president of the United States or whatever has a fungus thing in his head telling him to do this to put pressure on people? So it's like an invasion of the body snatchers type deal where um he's trying to put pressure on people to spread the fungus, or he's also an immune person who's gone nuts and is trying to spread the fungus by like oppressing humans and putting them into situations where they would try and squeeze out the cracks of an oppressive government and find the fungus and bring it into populated areas. Is that what it is? Is that what it's going to be, Mark? Is it? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Am I going to finish this game? Is it going to be a bunch of shit? If I get to the point um, where it becomes unbearable, I will probably put a little message up somewhere saying, "Look, not doing this game anymore." But you never know. I might stick with it to the end. Don't know. Anyway, I've said my piece. I've had my rant. I am gonna go and do a bit more work, and then I might play a bit of Last of Us. See where I get. But yeah. See people when I see them. Happy New Year, by the way. You know, a New Year's event happened. Uh, yeah, yeah. Right. Bye.